Hello, gorgeous, and welcome to the Women on Top podcast. I'm your host, Valerie Lynn, and with over 15 years of business experience, I became truly passionate about finding ways to support and hear from way more women. And what we know to be true is that women thrive when they are in their favorite position, on top in business, in relationships, in personal growth, and on top in being real and authentic to who the hell they are. So I invite you to sit back and enjoy the Women on Top podcast. Welcome back to the Women on Top, everybody. I am so delighted that you're here with us. Today, I have Dena Ayala, who is here with me, who is a deeply experienced executive leader who has over 20 years in recruiting, in specializing in kind of connecting organizations with high impact talent. She is somebody who has just such in-depth knowledge. She is also the founder of Ignite Human Capital, and she really brings this innovative approach. She's very relationship driven, and she really drives for all things excellence when it comes to the world of recruitment and of talent consulting and all things talent, really. So we're excited to have her here. Dena, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Val. I'm so excited to be on. Thank you for hosting us and just making sure that women are highlighted. And thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's just my love language to make sure that we're sharing those stories for women, of women, and helping women advance and grow and develop. And that's kind of our conversation today. And so I'd love to just talk about, there's kind of this interesting tension right now, I feel like, in the world where for people who are looking for jobs, they feel like there are no jobs. While on the other side of that, companies are saying that they can't find the right talent. And so I'd love to have you just kind of give us a little bit of like the high level overview of what on earth is going on in the talent market today.
It is a funny market. You're completely right. So you have AI going everywhere. So AI is making it a little bit difficult on both sides. AI is making it good for the job seeker to be able to use tools and then create what they would say is a perfect resume and create applications which get through to interviews sometimes. But then you have recruiters who are defensive, who are waiting and looking for people who have used AI to say, are you accurate and authentic? And if you're not authentic to what your brand may look like on LinkedIn or from what we could see from before, then it all kind of unravels. And so time is being spent on both sides. So you see this frustration, but I know there's a way through it. There's definitely some answers on how we could get through that part.
Yeah. Okay. So give us some of those answers. Like, what are some of those things that you're seeing? Because it is one of those, and I've been a little bit on both sides. So I've been in the talent acquisition space where you're just looking for that unicorn candidate, that purple squirrel, whatever you want to call it. You're looking for a diamond, and it can be tricky. And then on the flip side, I have definitely been on the job seeker side, as you know, and it was definitely more humbling than I realized. It had been years since I had been back in the market, and I felt like I'd been hit by a brick wall. And so I would love to hear, what are some of those things that you're like, okay, I do see that there's light at the end of this tunnel.
So we put together a career transition group. So I can't say all of this is things that I've invented. These are things that I've seen that other coaches are telling individuals right now. But one of the first things to do on the candidate side is create your real story. What is your story? Go deep. Talk about, this is where I've shined in my career. These are the things that I want to do in my career. This is my journey. This is where I'm really good, and this is where I'm medium good. And be honest and transparent about those things. And once you have a full story, it's almost like a video resume. Like this, you could actually even make video resumes where people could record you, and you could put that along as a link with a resume. And so create your story in depth. Be your own storyteller, and then make sure you shine in a unique way. So that would be some of the things I would coach on with the transition groups, or that I've seen other coaches say. And then when you have your story down, exactly where you're great. Maybe I'd say I'm really good at HR placement. I'm really good at executive placement. I could do engineering, accounting, finance, marketing. I could go into this depth of what I can do, but let me tell you about my first things that I'm really strong at, or TA leadership and consulting. And then after that, build on all the different reasons why you'd work with all the different organizations and who really is your ideal place. and then go down the path of a beautiful resume, beautiful marketing on LinkedIn that matches, a complete story of things that you're not great at. And people will resonate with that. They could believe in that. They could understand that.
Mm, I have I have so many questions. Okay, I'm going to start with the video resume piece first.
Yeah.
I have never completed a video resume before, and I know that that's like starting. I was starting to see things about that. So, what is this? Is it? Does this truly like put you a leg above everyone else if you complete a video resume? Should we just be talking, like going through the resume? Like, what elements should be included in that video? How long should it? Like, give me all the things that
All
you
the
want to
things.
see.
I'm totally happy to. So here's the thing is that anytime that anyone puts the effort forward to show that I am a true match for this job, and you really genuinely are, it's worth the video resume. In the video resume, I would suggest it be custom. So you make a video just like this, talk about why I'm looking at XYZ company, what exactly their mission is, why it aligns with me, why it aligns with my story. Here's my story. That's slide two, and attach this video resume into either like a PowerPoint or a Gamma and have it talking about this is who I am on a high level and all that the backup behind it. All of a sudden your resumes come to life. All of a sudden that you've told a
Mm.
few more things that make sense. And now anybody that opens that, if they just open it, you might not get them to open it, but if they just open it, you've already gone so much farther.
Yeah. Okay. That motivates me to think about this differently. Not that I'm in the market, but it's good for people to hear that who are and who are like, gosh, what are some ways that I can get my resume to stand out, that I can get my application looked at? And how can I be unique without being absolutely annoying? And so I think that that feels like a really good method to, like you say, I like what you said about like bring your resume to life. So
Yeah.
the other piece I want to ask about is women, myself included, gosh, it's hard in general from the women that, especially this podcast is for, ambitious, like motivated, development minded women to put themselves out there, to advocate for what they're good at, to do that. And so I guess my question to you is, why do you think that is that we struggle with that? And how can we, instead of like feeling braggadocious, how can we start to say, gosh, these are some of the things I am actually really good at in a way that feels resonant and authentic?
That's really, really good question. So I'd start with what you could call your playbook. So what did you actually do? And when we write our resume, we talk about some of the things that were accomplished maybe in the role or the department as a whole. But what did you actually do? And write it down, write about the challenges, and just write it all the way through and kind of get to this point where you know what you did. Then go to a friend. Go to a coach, go to somebody who could talk to you a little bit about, well, how does that translate? How does it see from an outside perspective? And that person will help you. If you don't feel confident in doing it by yourself, somebody else will bounce ideas with you. I mean, I think it's just an accountability partner for that success. This is your
Yeah,
chance right now. Like it's really hard. I'm not going to dismiss that. It is not an easy market. It's actually probably one of the hardest I've seen in 26 years,
really.
but it is. And it's hard because it's not spoken. All these things that we're going through alone. So find your friend, find somebody who could read through that playbook. And I just want to dismiss the word resume because it's too formatted. It doesn't give you a chance to just write it all out. Read through the playbook and find out what they heard and saw in that and how they translate that and how we maybe can relook at this resume that's live or relook at your regular resume and put it into terms where you're bragging. Like you said, braggadocious. We have to. We have to because you can't be seen without it.
I wonder if there are things that women could be thinking about, even if they're not in the market right now, that could help them leverage where they're at in terms of their experiences and skills, and what could we be thinking about now in case we come to that point where we are looking, or maybe we just are ready for whatever the next career move is. And the reason I'm saying that is because
Yeah.
when I went through career transition, I realized how I should have done a much better job of documenting my successes and some of the things that I had accomplished. And I did a very terrible job of that. And so I'm curious to hear, like, what are some of those types of things that maybe we should be thinking about?
I think you highlighted a really big one, documenting your successes. Documenting, even keeping a copy of all those performance reviews. How often do we keep those? Somebody else has done that reflection, so
Yeah.
storing that, finding that, getting all that back in your hands, finding those LinkedIn recommendations and talking to those individuals too. That is your network. But networking, I would also lead to that. Please don't network after when you need a job, network before. When
Mm,
somebody comes to you and says, "Can you look at my job successes, or can you kind of help coach me?" Be that person for other people, and they'll be that for you. So really kind of being out there and being in that space of vulnerability too. It's hard. It's hard to bring everything to somebody else, but I think that's a great way. But another part is upskilling. Whatever you see that might be changing in your place of work right now, think about that. The future of work is changing and it's all upon us and we're all kind of creating it. So,
yeah.
what can you do to upskill your skills? If you're like, "Hey, I'm not really comfortable with AI," I respect you, but it is kind of here. So, we do have to kind of move in this direction of learning it and understanding it. And again, building your community around it. I think there's a lot of people are willing to say, "Hey, I don't know this 100% either, but let me help you, you help me."
Yeah, I think that's a really good point of what are some of those things because I bet we all have that innate sense in us of like, if we could ask each of us, what do you think is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years? We all have some idea of what we think is going to happen. And so maybe looking at that, and even for myself included there, AI, I've been like downloading all the different apps, right? Because like I want to get familiar with so many not for the sake of relying on it too much from a human perspective, but because I want to be very familiar with the tools. And so, like you said, I do think there is an element of there are certain things that are here, whether we want to resist them or not. But that brings me to my next question of is AI creating a more challenging environment for both the recruiting side of things and for the applicant side?
It is, but it's also on the recruiting in-house side. I think there's a lot of optimization. So
Um,
a lot of our work is actually, unfortunately, administrative and tasks. Like until we get to the interview process, which is probably an average recruiter's maybe 30% of their week, until you're actually in that interview, the majority of before and after is all administrative. So we're optimizing. There's California compliance for those of you that are in California. There are some rules to the game that you have to kind of watch out for, but screening tools, rating tools, sourcing tools, they're all coming. You could go to bed knowing that somebody knows exactly how you search and it's out there searching for you and coming back with candidates for you. I mean, there's so much changing real fast on our side from as a recruiter. And there's a plethora of tools. I just counted it this morning. We have 11 tools right now that are all the things we use, and we love them. And we genuinely have adopted and used them all. So from that side, I think it's going to be a game changer. And I really do advise all recruiters to be ahead of this right now because I could give a couple of examples, but we've had some searches where it was absolutely insane. We went down the path and used a combo of Claude and Chat to find 118 different FQHC CFOs. And so when we found all of these CFOs, this way we were in quick order able to email them on their personal email, able to get their work email, able to even call them if we wanted to, and reach out to all these individuals as true headhunters and come back with candidates within the matter of like 2 weeks.
wow.
Whereas regular process would have took 3 months for that level of CFOs that we were able to reach out to. So there's a real and I toggled between a couple other tools in there too, but there's a real optimization in just the age of data, and then utilizing that data in a quick form, having automatic emails, having just everything kind of happen as long as you plugged it in all correctly. To your second part though, on the candidates, it's a hindrance. I actually
Mm,
think it's more negative than positive. It may help you learn how to write a better resume. It may help you get through some pieces, but the pure amount of screen out that's happening because what we're talking about is setting yourself apart. It's not able to do it with a flat resume. And I mean, I think that the tools screen out based on your resume only, and you have to be a perfect match. And so
mhm.
it's just a bigger problem. It goes all the way back to there's not enough jobs that we see that we saw for 3, 4 years ago. We
Yeah.
saw so many more.
Do you think that the market is going to eventually start to see a shift in terms of, how many jobs are out there and just kind of get better, I guess, in general?
I think there will be a shift. I
Mm.
absolutely will. So I see it. I mean, we have always an every like 4 or 5 year cycle where jobs come back in floods. Right now, you're seeing employers go and turn half their workforce into AI and then turn half of it back. Be like, well, that didn't work. So you're kind of like, okay, things are not quite settled in, but
Yeah.
people will actually be different. We're going to work a little bit different, but I think there'll be more jobs. Like, can you imagine how much better we could be at our jobs with 5 AI bots working for us at a time? Then maybe we could just get 5 times more done.
Oh, absolutely. Do you have an idea of kind of timeline on this? Like when you think the pendulum will start to swing? And I agree with you. Like we've seen this, like we saw this before with, I don't know, the internet and some different things that happened where we're like, oh gosh, everyone's going to be out of a job. And for a while
Well,
it got really tight and really hard. And then realized like, oh, we can't do it without the people though. And there's all these issues now and these things that have broken and we need people to come back and like fix them. And so I wonder if you have a sense of time.
I still think over the next year or two, it's going to get better and better. Now, what I do see is you watch industries as a job seeker. You may have worked at one particular industry 5, 10 years ago. That's still industry experience. And I know that's still kind of going to be there. Like people want to see people that have had the background that they're looking for. So watch what sectors are growing right now, like healthcare. To where your point, that's growing, that's not really going away. So if you had worked in that industry 5, 10 years prior, jump back into healthcare, start applying for that and put that as part of your story. And just watch that trend because that is a trend that's going to kind of always shake up and not necessarily always be the same.
Hmm.
COVID, we saw an increase in life sciences organizations, pharma companies, and we saw an increase in mortgage. And if you weren't watching it, you might not have been applying for those types of industries. So the industries will shift. If you're a job seeker, just shift with them.
I like that. How can we shift with them? Do you use Claude or chat or some of those tools to help you screen candidates?
Um, No, no, there's screening tools that are coming through that are they're good. I don't really use it in that sense right now. I think it's a little bit hard to track. It's hard to measure and be California compliant, unfortunately. So the screening tools that we're using nowadays, you have to do a couple of things. But one, you have to test that it's screening, unbiased. And these tools I don't think are safe enough to say just in them that they're unbiased. So there are some
Mm.
screening tools specifically in marketing right now or in the market right now that are going to say they're California compliant. And how they do that is they go through and test that maybe candidate 1, 2, and 3 that's been ranked. And these are the top ones. They test that 1, 2, and 3 were truly better than 5 in a reoccurrence. As far as keywords, it's only keywords and resumes that they're able to do this by, or they kind of understand to a higher level, but it's really based on words. So that is one thing. And then what as a human, we have to go in and actually test the system too. We have to go back and look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and look at candidate number 10 and just say, are you actually less strong than 1, 2, or 3? And we have to do that for ourselves for compliance reasons. So yeah, I don't use it in that capacity right now because I'm a little bit nervous about that being unbiased
Yeah.
or biased. Sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate that you have that lens and are being so careful and thoughtful about that. Just because I think that is such a big concern. What I've been hearing a lot is like ethical AI and how do we make sure that there are some of these guardrails built in and that we're not just relying on it to do everything. And I think that's a little bit of a misconception by job seekers too, is that of course in the frustration and in the overwhelm of the market and AI, there's a fear that they're being judged by just any AI system that might be screening them out. And so I think it's really important that these kind of conversations are happening, that kind of research is going on. So I'm glad that you're being so thoughtful about how you utilize it.
Yeah, and we've gone from this part where we used to say, okay, candidates can only have 1 page and they could have 3 pages and they could have, you know what, I would just really be okay with how many of our pages of content that you have that truly talks about what you've accomplished. Go for it. It doesn't really matter. I would say go to the 3 pages, go fully in there and write every word because if that's what that tool is looking for, fully describe it. And go back into your Claude or chat and say, okay, this transformation word, what other words can mean transformation? And write them all out. What is when you have a transformation in an enterprise, large matrix environment? How does this word show up in describing the kinds of projects? Or if we have transformation in a small startup, what other words are said in this industry of tech or whatnot? Just try to get the variance of as many ways to describe one thing that you do in that resume, and you'll catch more.
I like that. That's a really good tip for people listening, especially if you're in the market right now or just creating a resume or what have you. I think that's a really good thing to think about is like, gosh, I'm in this industry where I have the skill set. What are some other ways that, this job or company might be describing it, and go and look up some of that information. I like that a lot. That's a really good creative way of not outsmarting it, but how can I add to it in a way that maybe AI wouldn't have caught? Because I feel like it does such a good job, at least from my experience, of mirroring. It does a really good job
Yeah.
of like, oh, this is the job description. Let's put all of those exact words into your resume. But maybe it's looking for a little bit more. And maybe there's different ways that we can describe some of those things that are within the description.
Well, to your point about AI glitching, AI does glitch, you know. I had a job description I was creating, and one of the core components was another language, and it was just a very vital component, and version 1 and 2 didn't have that. I'm like, "Why do I keep adding this back in?" This is such a basic thing. Why am I adding it back in? But it isn't always perfect, and it should be a concern. So just keep going. And again, I don't think it's a major concern to apply twice to a job if you see it's open for a while, and just switch it up. And sometimes it's timing. It's happened to me before where I've had a job, worked on it for a while. We went to almost the final stage of a candidate interview or offer. I'm sorry, and then it didn't end up going through. And then I'm back at square one a
Mm,
month later, and now other candidates don't want to apply because they see it's been open for a while and 1,000 people applied. It could just be the perfect timing, so don't get discouraged. And I
yeah.
wouldn't take offense if you applied more than once. It just make me kind of see like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You're interested. Let me look.
Okay. Okay. So it kind of sounds like, if nothing else, if in doubt, apply again.
Yeah. Yeah, and don't feel afraid to write a personalized email, write a personalized note on LinkedIn. Again, look, use the tools like Dub or BombBomb to make a video resume. Those are very easy tools. They're just easy to create a video, pop them up, add them to a PowerPoint, and then you have a whole different experience when you send that personalized notes through LinkedIn.
I love that. We'll add these links in the show notes for people so they can access them really quickly. Are you getting a lot of those messages in your inbox? Are you
No.
receiving? No.
No, that's where I will stop. There's actually a part of LinkedIn that you could use the video message to if you have that subscription. I will stop and look at them because I know that candidate went the extra mile. And even if the job is near close or whatnot, if I just want to know who they are for the next job, I think when you show that kind of work, it means something.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you stop and look at those. And that's surprising that you're not receiving that many of them. So,
Oh,
okay, we shouldn't be afraid to reach out to people online then. I mean, that's what that tells me, right?
yeah, and don't be afraid to just do something different. Do something outside the box. It's totally welcomed.
Okay, I like that. I think that's really good for people to hear. Again, because we're just so in it, there's so much information. You go to TikTok, you go to YouTube, you go to all these things, and you will find advice on every different corner about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And so I think it's really great to hear your expertise come through in this area and to just kind of break it down and say this is what your experience has been. I am interested to hear about some of your personal um, kind of love for the work that you do, because clearly, like, this has been a business you've been building for a long time, right? Like you've had
Yeah.
you've had
8 years. Yeah.
yeah, for 8 years.
We built our business for 8 years, but I've been in the industry 26. So,
Oh my gosh.
um, yeah, during college,
Yeah.
joined in, and my story started with my sister had already been in the industry 12 years, and my father retired. So we decided, you know what, we should start a business together. This is perfect timing, and we joined in, and I've just loved it. It was not something that I learned from like going out and seeing what people do in the recruiting space. I just kind of fell into it, and I absolutely love it. There's so much goodness in helping people and supporting people. And there's only so many times in your life where it's extremely hard, right? Like this is a time I need to get through it. I have a career transition or I'm in an employer that I really don't feel valued. Whatever the exact scenario is that's causing you to look for more employment or if you're under or partially employed, the time is just you're very vulnerable. And I think there's a piece to giving in this way that totally fulfills me. And so those moments I get to call someone and say, oh my gosh, you got the job. It's the absolute best feeling. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to just hear what happens later too. Like, how did that change your life? Where did it go? Was it the stepping stone we were hoping for, or are we back here? And that's okay too. I'm here. But yeah, it's absolutely a passion of mine to help people in those times.
I love that. I love that you can just kind of hear that in your voice of like, this is a way that it feels like you're actually contributing to this person's journey in life and kind of being that guide for them, the support for them in so many different ways. And that's really meaningful. I wonder, you've been in this
Thank
so long and you do love it. Gosh, I mean, getting to know you, it's like very clearly you love it. You have your own HR networking group. You've created so many other things that you're involved in. I don't know how you keep it all together, but I wonder for you, has there ever been a moment where you've just been like, gosh, I want to try something else, or I'm ready to throw in the towel? And like, what has that looked like? And not because I want to focus on the negative, but I think it can be so easy to look at women like you and go, gosh, look at her. She has this amazing business. She's thriving. She's got this networking
Oh,
group. She's giving great advice on podcasts. Like, what is it that she doesn't do? And I think it'd just be good to hear, have you ever had those moments of doubt or, you know, kind of
yeah.
questioned?
Yeah, no, thank you for that question. There's a couple of times, probably about 4 years into the industry, we had gone through some hard times. There was September 11th, and that
Mm,
was really early. And I didn't really necessarily choose this path. I fell into it. And so there are some hard times, and it just felt like, gosh, what will this industry shift? Fast forwarding, there was other shifts that occurred. There was like the big boom, the break of the economy, and the financial bust. There was just a lot of these times where you're like, hold on, if the whole world isn't hiring, how does this make sense? I'm in this space,
yeah.
So there's been some times on that, and then I think that's where I'm heading right into this AI change with eyes wide open and totally excited about it. I've been scared at moments of change before. There's been times that made me go, gosh, even though I love this profession, is this profession going to be around? And I think the answer is it's absolutely going to be around. It's just going to look different. And I'd like to be ahead of that this time than behind that and waiting and seeing if it all settles. Right now, it's just about learning everything I can and every day just kind of figuring out how I get out there and can still contribute to our communities, still make an impact and keep growing.
Yeah. I like what you shared about like, it's kind of like, how can I work with this time instead of resisting against it or kind of living in that fear? And I think that's a really valuable lesson for all of us of how can we kind of work with whatever's happening and lean into it a little bit more instead of feeling like this resistance and that fear that can just be so overwhelming, especially in a time like this. That's so unknown for all of us, really. um,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's one of the things that is the hardest, right? We all have fear. We all go through it. But just trying to like rationalize and calm myself through it and think and breathe through it and figure out what do I actually do with this? What am I actually really fearing at the end? Is it controllable? If I can't control it the way I controlled it before, can I grow into it, lean into it, find a way through it?
Yeah. What would you tell other recruiters right now in the industry? Some of it I think we can kind of hear from the things you've shared, but what else is coming to mind that you would want to share with them?
I think it's an exciting time. I think
Mm,
it's time that we're all upskilling. So, you have a friend over here. If you need somebody to kind of bounce ideas off, I put that out there and for candidates too. If you need help, like learning that first video resume, I'm here completely. But for recruiters out there, this is a great time. We get to upskill. We never had that. You've never had that. You could go to sleep and somebody has 5 candidates for you in the morning. You know, it's actually awesome. Like there's some pieces that are changing, but we're changing with it. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want a friend out there, call me. I'm here.
yeah. I love that you've been able to adopt so many new tools that you've been able to implement. Are there a couple, you mentioned Chat and Claude, are there any others that you would say, if you haven't checked out this resource, even if it's not an app, maybe it's just an article or a TED Talk, like it could be anything, but if there's something out there that speaks to you in this time of innovation, what would that be for other recruiters?
Okay, so there's a lot. I'll do a couple that are just generally for every professional.
Great.
So if your organization allows you to do note takers, that's a must.
Mm.
Every meeting I do now, I need a note taker, and I just absolutely love it. I think that you could recap all meetings much easier. You could come back to your to-dos. You could catch little things you didn't catch. So I highly believe in all note takers. I use one called Crisp. As I told you earlier, Valerie, times I have background noise, and so it not only takes out the background noise, but it captures my notes. But that's the cool thing about these note
Cool.
takers. There's all these combos now, so you could kind of get any one of them.
Yeah.
But any kind of note taker would be fantastic. I would say you always, as a as a as a professional, go with Gamma 2 for presentations if you're looking at presentations. This one's super cool because you could prompt it to build out most of the information that you would like for one particular subject. Say, for instance, I brought up the transformation idea earlier. So, say, for instance, I'm in a role where I'm looking for transformation of an office business flow. And so I could go in there and say, what are some standard, like it will give me, I could say, look at this is our office. We're a tech group. We're in San Francisco. Can you give me pictures of my office setting? And then can you start to give me some bullets of different things we should talk about when discovering how the organization flows should work and what departments attached to it? It will prompt you in questions and details, just like you're working in a Claude, but you're working in a presentation. So I love that one for everybody. I mean, I use it constantly. You'll probably, if you work with me, you'll probably see a candid presentation in Gamma
Yeah.
in whatever city they're in, pictures of it. But that wouldn't be a cool one. Gamma is really, really fun. If you're looking for, so if you're a sourcer and you're in recruiting and you're looking for ways to find candidates, I
Yeah.
would ask you to go for Seamless AI, Juicebox, Apollo. I mean, there's just tons of them right now. Gosh, what else? You could do Seek Out. You could do, I mean, there's a bunch, but these ones mix between screen, like actually sourcing candidates, where the Juicebox sources from multiple different tools. You'll get things from like Seamless, like when we were talking about the CFO search, I would pop into Seamless and find contacts, and then be able to call them either directly or ping them through LinkedIn, but I couldn't find them the direct way through LinkedIn. So these tools are just a lot of fun ones, but there's a ton of ones in recruiting that are coming through. But generally speaking, if you're any professional, you have to have a box now talking through all your notes, and at least try some of these cool presentation ones so you're not, dealing with a huge presentation. You could do it in 5 minutes.
Oh, that's so great. I'm excited to go look some of these up. It's good to hear some of the ones that are working really well because, similarly, there's just a ton out there about what are the best tools. So it's great to hear from somebody who's kind of tried and tested so many different things as to like what can these apps do to really help you and what can these, tools make more efficient in your life, whether you're a recruiter or not, or a sourcer or not. And I think it's really important. So thank you for sharing some of those things.
Of
Um,
course.
I wonder I think your daughter might be Gen Z, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yeah.
If you could sit down with, I would say, like kind of millennial women, Gen Z women right now, what would you want them to really understand about building a meaningful career?
Oh, that's a big question. I really like that question. Um, I would say all careers kind of start with what you're passionate about and what you're good at, both of those two. You can't just have one or the other. If it's just what you're passionate about, but you're not necessarily proven in it yet, test it. Find a way to figure out, can I be good in this? But definitely have to have both sides. If you're not happy about it, but you're really good at it, that might make you money, that might make a stable income, but still be positioning yourself in your career ladder to be moving into something you're passionate about also. But don't take life without both.
I like that because we hear a lot about find your purpose, find your passion. But I like what you said about that. It's not just one or the other. It kind of has to be this like marry up of the two of them. And I feel like you definitely have found that for yourself in terms of, I mean, you seem to also love kind of this like tech savvy innovation world of AI. I just get the sense that this is kind of really fun for you to learn about and figure out. And then you're also such a human person. And so it seems like there's a lot of a combination here within your industry that just works so well for you. Um,
Thank you.
and I think that does speak to the next generation. And I've heard a lot about they want more meaning in their work. And that's kind of, it's interesting that that's becoming more important, maybe than it has been before. And so I think your message is spot on and so aligned with that.
You brought my daughter Jaden up. She does genuinely care about working with sustainable companies. She cares about who cares about the planet and who's being good in the world. What organizations treat farming well? All of it. She just
Yeah.
genuinely cares about this. What are our shirts made of? Every piece of what I'm actually experiencing in the world. She understands she has an impact, and it's wonderful. And for her, as a mom guiding her, all I do is show her, well, it looks like you enjoy this. Do you know what a B Corp is? Or it looks like you might go down this path. Look at all your strengths. Is this something you'd like to do? And so for her, I guide her in a way where I just show her what I've seen out there. But there's so many amazing things out there. Get creative, find the things that you want to kind of find in life. And um, I think that there's a absolute place for people being good humans. I think it's lovely. I love every part of what this generation's bringing.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like they get a lot of, I don't know, like I feel like there's so much wisdom there. There's a lot of goodness coming from this next generation. I feel like they can teach us a lot. So I love that.
I agree.
Yeah. So on this podcast, I have a closing tradition where I ask the guest that I'm interviewing to leave some sort of quote or reflection or just parting words for the next guest, not knowing who it is. So, what I'd like to do is read what was left for you and then invite you the opportunity to do the same. So,
Oh, how cool is this? I have to think about it for a minute afterwards. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and read this. That'll give you some time to to think through it.
Okay.
So my last guest, she left a quote by Martha Graham that says, "There is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique." And she just shared that this is one of her favorite quotes and that there really is only one you of all time and only one you that will ever exist. And that you're the only one who's ever going to live this journey. So doing it in your own way is so important.
Oh,
And
wow. That was amazing. I actually love that message completely. I think it's brilliant and timely to say, because I think everybody does have a piece that you have to remember what makes you special, what makes you unique, what makes you be a part of this whole equation of the whole world.
yeah,
So, what a beautiful quote.
yeah.
I
And I
appreciate
feel
that.
like this is perfect for this conversation. You just left something similar for that next generation of like, gosh, you have to honor these parts of you, like your daughter, that are just so beautiful and human and caring and kind, and that there's only one of you. And so you might as well carry that out somehow. So I think it goes perfectly with what you just shared.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
what is coming to your mind that you might want to leave for the next guest, not knowing who it is?
I don't necessarily have a quote for this, but you talked earlier a little bit about, fear, and we talked a little bit about how things could be hard at times, and just trying to wave through them. So I guess what I'd leave for the next guest is, no matter how much is on your plate, no matter how much life could be hard or there could be fear in the world, know that it's time to celebrate everything you've accomplished and make times for some fun as well.
That is so perfect for right now. I feel like that piece about fun is something we need to continue to remind ourselves, especially those women like you, like me, who it's so easy for us. Probably, I'm speaking on behalf of like the people who listen to this podcast, the speakers I've had. So easy to get caught up in like, what's the next thing I could be creating? What could I be checking off my to-do list? How can I be resting? But I'm not really resting. I'm just like productively like sitting here with my laptop watching a movie, right? Like, how can we just lean into celebrating ourselves a little more and having some more joy in life? And I think that is so, so well said. So Thank you for bringing the fun. You do so in so many ways, of bringing people together. You're such a connector. You're such an expert in this space. And I just really value your perspective. And being here today, it's not lost on me that you could be doing so many other things. So thank you for pouring into us. And I just really appreciate you, Dena.
Thank you so much, Val. You are amazing. You definitely have created a spot for people to learn from each other, to appreciate each other, to spend time just, growing in their each an individual way. And thank you for who you are, for all the transformations you're making in the workplace and the cultures you support and the people you support.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for all you do.
Oh gosh, that's so kind. I so appreciate you. Thank you for tuning into the show today. And before you go, I just have one quick favor to ask of you. There is a really simple way that you can help support me and help support this show, and that is to hit that follow button on whatever app you're listening to the show on. I'm trying really hard to level up the content and deliver unique value and amazing guests, and just hitting that follow button is the magic that will help continue to empower that. And remember that the world deserves to hear your voice and your stories, and you deserve a place at the top.